Okay, thank you for coming back to our FAQ. My name is Scott McKenzie. For those of you that do not know me, I am the founder and CEO of home care agency Blueprint, and I have Peter here. We are going to discuss Module 2 in my course, and for those of you that do not know, we are a coaching and basically, we offer coaching services on how to start, scale, and grow your very own home care agency. And today we're going to be going over Module 2, which is all about vision and mission. And I will be asking Peter a few questions on how he got into his own, looked into getting into home care in this industry. And we'll go ahead and get started. So thank you for being here, Peter. And
Absolutely.
so so yeah, what we'll do is what we do at Home Care Agency Blueprint is it's not just a coaching program. We also have a course that you follow along with, and then our branding team, and as well as the rest of our Home Care Agency Blueprint team, we have different divisions. So with our branding team, we do like an intake call with you, and we talk about your brand identity and the essence of what you want your home care agency to look like. So today we're going to do an example of working with Peter on how we would create the essence and brand of his own home care agency. We do a thing called it's a brand discovery and essence activity. And so yeah, we're just going to go ahead and jump in here. There is a Google form that is filled out with our team as we go along the call with you when we do our kickoff call. And I have that on my screen here, but for sake of this call, we're just gonna go ahead and jump in, and I'll ask you a couple questions if that's all right, Peter, and we'll
Yeah.
start there. So
Awesome.
um, just to give a quick overview, in the brand discovery and essence intake, what we do is we basically identify what the core values are, why you want to get into starting up your own home care agency, and then we go ahead and create a business description, vision, mission statement, and then we also help create your brand logo, which has different colors, and we basically we that's how we basically build out your brand essence, because then when the vision and mission statement flow, that will also go with your logo and whatnot. And so we're big on building out a foundation of making sure that your copy for your business description and why you started this business flows into your website and your brochure material and everything like that. So yeah, we'll jump in here quickly. Yeah, so Peter, go ahead and just share with me what inspired you to start up your own home care agency. What inspired you to get into this business?
Yeah. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, it's definitely been a journey, and my I didn't necessarily start here, but I'm currently going through some career transition. What I've done for decades, the market for what I've done in the consulting space is kind of, I don't know, it's had its ups and downs the last couple of years, and it caused me to kind of look around and go, well, what else is out there? And I started looking at franchises, not knowing anything. And I was just like, well, let me see what is in the franchise world. And I was looking at, light retail, and then one of the franchise brokers I was talking to says, you could do personal care services too. And I go, oh, that's interesting. And I remembered my friend here, Scott, was doing that. So I said, tell me more about that. So as I dug in more and more, what I found was that this is a perfect business for me at this point in my life. I'm at the age where I do have care stories around family members, both my family and my in-laws. My dad had a very, very poor experience in a skilled nursing facility. In fact, the day that we were trying to pull him out of that facility, he passed. And so, unfortunately, we weren't able to give him the best at the end of his life, and that was really disappointing. My mom, on the other hand, is in a really great skilled nursing facility that's run by some Catholic nuns, and she just loves it. And she's been there for like 3 years, and
Yeah.
she's thriving, and she gets very well taken care of. So there's a success story there. But on my in-laws side, both my father-in-law, who, and usually in this industry we think about older folks, and he was older, he's in his 80s. He was able to stay at home, passed away in his bed, at peace at home, which was awesome. And then his son, my brother-in-law, had a stroke about 20 years ago, and so he'd be, younger. I mean, he's younger than me, but he requires full-time care 24/7. So we have people living with him now, and it works really well. And so, based upon what I was seeing happening in my family and the fact that I was looking for a new business, the fact that I knew you had done this business and been very successful, I was like, I want to jump in and check this out. I
Hmm.
think the other thing that kind of got me excited when I started looking at this business was, hey, there's this whole thing called the silver tsunami, or the baby boomers moving into these ages where they're going to need these services. And I'm at the towards the tail end of the baby boom, and my whole life I've been looking at the baby boom, like catching all the waves out in front of me in terms of business and new technologies and stuff like that. And now I'm seeing, hey, there's an opportunity for me to serve them as they get older, and I'm really excited about that.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's important. Everybody has a story on why they got into any type of business, let alone home care. And, for those of you that don't know me already from just maybe seeing my other videos on my YouTube channel, I started my home care business back in 2011, and I had taken care of my grandmother in junior high and high school. So, like, I was only 21 years old when I started Golden Age Companions. And if I didn't go through the experience of being with my grandmother, being a caregiver, helping her with, errands, just grocery shopping, getting her to the doctor's appointment, I really had a very close relationship with her. And we eventually needed a caregiver to come in, actually, two of them full time to provide 24/7 care. And we needed to hire an agency to do that. So, the short of it is, really, she ended up going to a facility with a UTI infection, and they just basically medicated her uh, a ton. Like, they put on Ativan, which is a muscle relaxer, and over just like 3 weeks, she passed away. They had put her on hospice, and she didn't need. I mean, she was 90, but like she didn't need to go on hospice, and I didn't have POA at that time, power of attorney, and so it was out of my control to be able to really pull her out of there or do anything. And, reflecting back on the couple years she did have home care, I realized how important it was to keep these people in their own homes. And I always come back to the analogy that, new babies that are born into this world, they get so much attention, love, and care. And then elderly, they still have those same needs at advanced age if they have Alzheimer's, dementia, where they need, bathing, hygiene assistance. Maybe they're totally forgetting everything, and they don't get that same attention and care across the board like babies do. And I feel like, that's the reason why I started Golden Age Companions, because I really wanted to impact seniors in a positive way and really be that agency that we're hands-on and we're properly vetting the caregivers and placing them and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, and then we even went through like 12 different caregivers with that agency during that time. We had some really good ones that were great with her, but we also had some that you could tell the agency really wasn't screening them properly. And I come back to just, it's important. Like, it's just, you got to have a heart in this business. Everyone has a reason why they want to get into some business. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Peter. I, it's just important. And sharing this is, like us at Home Care Agency Blueprint, this is why we do these branding calls, because everyone does have a story, and it's really important to have that story evoke across the whole brand, the website, your directory listings. Everything needs to kind of be consistent. So I'm not going to go through the entire branding example call with you, Peter, today, because just for the sake of just keep the call a little shorter. But like, just for you viewers watching, Some things that we ask are like, what emotions do you want to your brand to evoke to clients and families? This is part of building out the logo and whatnot. Any colors, we ask for 3 different colors. And then like anything specific that you might want in your mission statement. So, again, we come back to basically compiling all this information to create your own brand that is, unique to you, and that you're excited to go out and hand out your business card and network and be able to just bring on new clients. So one question I will jump on here, Peter, is, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what kind of growth do you envision for your home care agency over the next 5 years?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Yeah, well, I have looked. I didn't say one of the things that also drove me towards this kind of business as opposed to some of those other businesses I was looking at is I live out in the country. And, a lot of the franchises are geared around high density city type retail outlets or, but where I live specifically, when I started digging into and going through the blueprint course and getting on to the census website and looking at the ages around me and understanding the growth trends around me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing place to be because where I live, essentially west of Austin, Texas, is one of the biggest retirement areas in the United States. And so we have some of the zip codes around here are 20+% people over 65, which that's not normal. And also, it's projected that, there's 10,000 people a day turning 65 because of that baby boom generation. And so the people over 65 in my rural area is going to grow by 50% over the next 5 years. So the market where I live supports this business in a big way. And it's also an opportunity for me to pay back all of the blessings I've had in my life to my community. In fact, I've been thinking for the last couple of years about asking for some guidance, some message about how do I take all this stuff that I've been abundantly blessed with and pay it forward and give it back. And I think this is it. So I would like the agency to grow as fast as I possibly can. And I know that, through the course of this stuff that you're teaching me, I'm going to be able to set up the systems to kind of bypass all those lessons learned you had when you were first starting out and hopefully grow it to a very profitable business in a short period of time. In fact, I was talking to my wife last night and we would love it if we could grow this business quickly to a point where she could leave her job and work with me full time in this business. So I don't know what that looks like, but I'm thinking, somewhere between 30 and 50 regular clients and beyond before we can do that. So that's, you said next 5 years, but I think I want to do that within 2 years. Yeah, 1 to 2 years, So that's what we're looking. And just create, and our aspiration isn't like to grow it to so huge, but just a nice, healthy business that, pays all our bills and allows us to enjoy life and give back to the people and to the community. But we're not looking to build a home care empire over here. Just, just enough to make things awesome for the people around us.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it is important to have a heart in this business. And we always, whenever we're bringing on new clients, students, we always pre-vet them as much as they want to sign on. We want to make sure people do have a heart because this is a people business. You got to be sure that you want to get in this business for the right reasons. People know it is a lucrative business as well. At the same time, the most successful people in this type of industry are the people that really do care and that they want to go out and really make a positive impact. I always had that vision for Golden Age Companions, and organically, people read that right on you when you're walking into a facility or, you go out and do an assessment for a family. They know they want to choose you because they know that you really do care. And, you pick up the phone when they call. If there's an issue, you handle it right away. Like, people pick up on stuff like that, where, people don't really have a heart in it. They just want to just do this business. It's definitely a people business. So you gotta It's always good to know that ahead of time. But yeah, thank you for sharing that, Peter. And then, the rest of the thing, just for like the sake of this call today, I mean, for you guys that are watching, on the branding, the rest of the things that we ask are like, if your brand was a person, what would be the personality? And there's like trustworthy, optimistic, professional, empathetic, dependable. What kind of taglines or mottos inspire you from other brands? For example, like how would you like your caregivers to perceive the brand and its mission? Are there any specific design elements? Some of our, blueprint clients that we've had, like they've said, well, I really like, the eagle, right? Like that's something I want in my logo, and this is why I like the representation. And so we build that all together to create that logo that they resonate with too. Giving an example for Golden Age companions, the reason why we have a tree is because it's, tree is like, it has all these little leaves that branch off on the logo. And the way that we instill that in the culture of the business is that every little leaf is like a client that we're providing care for, and it's kind of like a family. So like the caregivers are part of our family, the clients are part of our family, they're treated as family. And the tree has roots, right? So it goes into the ground, and it's actually an oak tree too that's in our logo. It's more of a cartoon version, but oak is for longevity and stuff like that. So that's kind of like where Golden Age got that's why I was inspired to come up with that at the time. And it's actually been revised in 12 years 3 times. So with all the experience in starting and scaling Golden Age, I really had to figure it out. It really did take like years because I just had like the assessment forms, and like I didn't have all these platforms and systems and things that can integrate. Where with you, Peter, like coming on with us, like we're able to just integrate all these systems together in less than 5-6 weeks. You're gonna have like a whole intact agency that's like, rocking. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's kind of everything on the branding that I wanted to go into on this call today. Is there anything else, any other questions that might have come up? Anything else that you can think of, Peter, that you might have questions on, like on our processes, or anything else that you just want to share for the sake of people watching?
Yeah, not necessarily a question, but I will share like some of those things you were just talking about. Probably two of the most important things for me is empathy and compassion. And, um, I think that sometimes in life, we get so busy running our lives and whatever, we lose empathy and compassion for other people. And I liked what you said earlier about babies and how they're brought into the world, and how we treat babies versus how we treat old people. And I had the opportunity 20 years to speak to a group when I first had my son, and they said, talk about, your son and what he means to you. And what I ended up talking about was actually the fact that, like what you're saying, a baby, it's so precious, and you can't look at a baby and not smile, right? They're just so beautiful. And I encouraged everybody in that talk to look at the people around them and the people in their families and the people that they're struggling with and the people that they have issues with, and see the baby, inside
That's
of
great.
them, and see how beautiful that person is. And that's part of what I want to bring into this business, is seeing the beautiful baby full of life in these people where life is fading, but they were once a baby, and, they had aspirations for their life, and, they're on the final legs, but they've
Yeah.
run a good race in most cases. So we want to treat them with that same love and respect that we treat babies.
Yeah. It even comes to the caregivers too. Because these caregivers, they're getting into the business for a reason, right? A
Yeah.
lot of them, they want the work, they need the job. At the same time, the really good ones are also doing it because they care, and it's important to have that same culture. I get that question a lot, like, Scott, you're so big on branding, you're always talking about branding. The reason why I'm so big on it is because that's kind of like the personality of how your brand is perceived across the internet. You know, even like say having branded shirts, the tags that your caregivers are going to be wearing, that's what, if you look at any really big brand or even just successful companies, they have that same culture, and it's instilled across the entire, just everything, like all the way down to like at Golden Age. We even have like, there's at one point where we even put like watermarks of positive affirmation words behind our assessment sheets, just to like put that good energy out there. And
Nice.
people thought I was crazy at this, like even like on our stationery, like I don't have it right in front of me right now, but like, the stationery where we have our branded paper that we'd mail
Yeah.
out like a letter to a client or even caregivers. We even had like the top it's, Dr. David Hawkins is Peter,
Yeah.
you know him. And so
Yeah.
he has like, the top high vibrating words, and there's at one point where I put like 12 or 14 of those words on the back in like
Nice.
light and people thought I was crazy. Like even some of my office staff, they're like, Scott, what are you doing with this paper? I'm like, well, it's putting the energy out there. And then like when someone opens up a letter, people look at it, right? They're gonna look at the front and
Yeah.
back, and they read those words, and it's just more inspiring. I'm big on, it's like the butterfly effect. That little thing there could just be really, impacting someone's day in a positive way, instead of just sending off a blank piece of paper with some text on it and here's a notice or whatever it is.
It's awesome. That's
So yeah,
awesome. I don't
that's
have anything else for today. This was a great session. Thanks so
yeah.
much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Peter. And thank you, everybody, for being here and watching. And we will see you on the next module 3.